Hey friends, Jill here. Welcome back to my garden. I have spent probably the last hour out here. It's like golden hour in the garden, which is usually when I shoot my vlogs. Mornings are a little hectic here, getting kids to school and getting the day started. And so most of my vlogs happen in the evening, but we've got these lovely, as you guys can see, we've got this wooded area, but then there's like golden hour that takes place, and the farm is absolutely stunning. I mean, you'll just walk through the garden gate and it just takes your breath away. And that is where I am right now. I'm being swooned by my own garden, and that is a very, very lovely feeling. So I'm gonna show you guys some of the beauty. I know we just did a garden tour, but my, oh my, it's so pretty out here. We actually had these volunteer nasturtiums. I guess Jess planted these maybe in the summer. And I have found that nasturtiums for me do better early spring, and they can do really well into the fall too. And so this plant has kind of just like blossomed. I mean, check that out. It's pretty big, so I'm going to leave it. And then I saw these two little petals. They had just bloomed. Look how pretty they are. So I grow nasturtium usually in containers. I've tried to grow them direct seeded in my beds. I actually have a really hard time with that. I find that nasturtiums do really well for me when I start them and transplant them into containers. But usually I am just growing them to eat like fresh on a salad, on an omelet. I did take the leaves and make a bunch of nasturtium pesto, which tasted really good. So that was kind of fun to see all those popping up. There's all my eucalyptus babies up there. So I've made my way into the tunnel, which is looking very full and lush. This week I'm going to be doing a tunnel tour, so you guys stay tuned for that. You can't really tell since I have everything covered up. It's actually surprising to me too. You know, it's like you do all the right things and sometimes nature still just takes over, right? And there's just nothing you can do. So we have got all of our brassicas, like cabbages, in this main bed, and then over here behind me. We've had the insect netting up. I'm also spraying that BT once a week, and we're still dealing with quite a bit of pests because I don't have clamps all the way down it. If we've got a big wind gust that comes in here, it's gonna like knock up some of this netting, and there's just a way that pests can get in, right? That's why they're called pests. And so I'm noticing some damage, but out in the raised bed garden, I don't have any insect netting out because I just haven't gotten around to it. And they look great. Like I have maybe a couple that have some grasshopper damage, but absolutely no caterpillar damage, nothing at all. And so I'm just over here scratching my head like, what the heck? Like, what is going on right now? And I just think it's so funny that you try so hard and some things you just can't help, right? But things are looking really good. I wanted to talk to you guys though. I was having a conversation with a friend and this topic got brought up, and now it's a conversation that I want to have with you guys. So behind me here, I've got all of these beautiful carnations that are popping up. We have got, I think I've told you guys, the two long beds on this side and the other end of the tunnel we have got completely planted with flowers. Now you see right back there, we have ginger, but we're going to be harvesting that next week, and we will follow that up with flowers as well. And that was kind of what prompted this whole video, was I wanted to show you guys the flowers because I'm super excited about them. But then also too, for so many years, this was something that I separated. So I've got my two long beds in here that are flowers. And then I have my 4 beds down here in the center that is all just primarily vegetable production. And coming from a vegetable growing background, I thought that you either like grew vegetables or you grew flowers. And I did not think that you grew both of them. I was just like, no, you either grow vegetables or you grow flowers. And something that I have just learned over this last year or so, and even just as like growing and learning myself, is that they're super, super beneficial for each other. Like they play off of each other so nicely and so well. And so that's something, you know, that was just kind of like brought to my attention, almost like this aha moment of like, you know what, there is freedom that comes with the garden, and whether you're growing vegetables or flowers or both, I encourage you guys grow both. And so it's just been really fun. And also just thinking about from a perspective of production, one thing that I have loved about growing both vegetables and flowers is this right here. So we can use the raised beds. For instance, in the raised bed gardens up at the front, we had the tomatoes that were left from the summer garden. When I cleaned all of those out, I added all these amendments on the bed, but then I immediately planted the overwintered flowers. So we had our snapdragons, we had our foxglove and things like that immediately got planted. They'll be in there all winter, and then they'll bloom early spring. We'll rip them out. We'll add some sort of amendment back into the bed, and then we will immediately be ready to plant either our flowers again, or we could do vegetables. And so if that's something too, that you've had this space that you grew vegetables in, say maybe in the summer, but you didn't know what to do with it in the winter. If you're not using it and you don't want to grow flowers, cover crops really good, right? You're just pouring back into your soil, but you also have this opportunity to grow flowers, overwinter them. You'll have an early, you know, spring harvest and bloom, then you'll harvest those, and then you'll plant again. And it's, you can really kind of, you can see, just hear all the things I'm talking about you can do in each season. You're really able to kind of ramp up your production, which I found really cool. I know that the beds we don't use, we usually plant some sort of cover crop and just kind of leave them be. And it is important to add back, you know, into your soil. Like you will have to have a season where you do that. If you're not like resting your beds, make sure that you at least have moments where you can, you know, put some sort of compost on it or amendment. You have to definitely do that. It's really important to feed back into your soil, because you don't want to be in a situation where your soil is all getting depleted and then you're just not putting anything else in there. So definitely be mindful that if you are wanting to kind of get on this, you know, production of like taking one thing out, putting it in with another, taking that thing out, replacing it with another, you can 100% do that. Just make sure you're feeding back into that soil, compost, amendments, all the other things that it needs. So that's been really fun to be able to just like diversify my crops and break up the crop rotations, which is also really important if you are thinking about growing vegetables and flowers. If you're able to add that diversity to your farm, you're able to break up crop rotations, you're able to just grow multiple things, and I think that that's really cool. What are you doing over there? I got a visitor. What are you doing?
I was gonna take some of these dead leaves and throw them to the goats.
Oh, okay. Are you saying hi? Do you like that Mommy grows flowers?
Yeah.
You think they're pretty? Do they smell good? Yeah. These little carnations sure are cute though. We have quite a few of them planted, as you can see. But they've grown really nicely. They've done really well. Also, side note, but I gotta show you guys this chart. Check those colors out. I mean, is that not so cool? Oh my gosh, I stinking love growing food. I seriously have a problem because anytime I see like flowers or vegetables, I immediately have to stop and take 100 photos of them. But I have this really nice camera, right, that I go around and blog and show you guys my life, and I realized that this really nice camera that shoots these really cool videos actually can shoot really cool photos. And so I have been dabbling in like teaching myself how to take these photos, and that's literally like all I've been doing. I mean, it has been probably like an hour or better every single week. I'm coming out here and just taking photos, and it's so cool because I've been able to see like, oh, I remember when I took a photo a couple weeks ago and it was so much smaller than that. Now it's huge, and it's just been really cool. I'm not gonna lie though, I've just been really kind of pleased with myself with just the growth that's happened on this farm since we've been here. You guys probably know if you've been following me for a period of time. I like to get things done, and I like for it to like look a certain way, and I have this idea in my head and I like immediately want to put that idea on paper, and I've had to be gracious with myself and remind myself that good things take time. And sometimes that's a struggle. But I have been able to look around, especially when I walk through the raised bed garden, or even I come out here and like I can recognize the growth that's taking place in the food that I'm growing to feed my family, and just all the hard work that's gone into it. And I feel good. Like I just feel so good about what I'm doing. And I hope that no matter where you are in your gardening journey, whether you're growing vegetables or growing flowers, you can take a moment and pause and just feel good about the work that you're doing and how far you've come, and know that good things take time. It's a slow process, friends, but you'll get there, I'll get there, and just celebrate the little things. You know, when I think about 2 years ago having a farm that really didn't have a ton of flowers on it, to now I'm a farm that is utilizing both flowers and vegetables in a large way, and like that's a huge shift of what we're doing next year. I feel proud about the growth that's taken place there, and so it's always just a good idea